You cannot take what you have not given, and you must give yourself. You cannot buy the revolution. You cannot make the revolution. You can only be the revolution. It is in your spirit, or it is nowhere. That passage was written by Ursula LeGuin in her book called The Dispossessed, which I do have to admit I have not read, or that I remember. If I did, it was a very long time ago, perhaps in my youth. And last year, as I renewed in myself a desire to influence the world toward peace, knowing that I'd had that in my heart since I was a very small child, and always kind of quashing it down like that's not anything I can be doing, or feeling like, somewhere along the line I'd grow up and be able to do it, not realizing that you have to be proactive about those kind of things, until I did realize. But last year I took that little candle that was in my heart and said, well, we're going to do something. And so I started doing these videos, which is very small. It's just me speaking, but it's me speaking something out into the airwaves of the world that I hope is peaceful. And it will grow from there. But the reason, the only reason I even bring that up, is as I was thinking even further, I realized that I literally have to start with myself. And that seems so obvious. And everything that is true can be very obvious, but it's because it's obvious, we can pass over it very quickly, very easily, and forget it and we want spectacular things instead of ordinary things. And in starting with myself, it's important that I feel peaceful and that I enjoy my peace. And because if I do not know how to create peace for myself, then I cannot share or teach or invite or show the way to anyone else. We can yearn together, but I won't actually know unless I do know. And so, I'm making this invitation to you as well. Start with yourself. And I have been on that journey of healing myself for a very long time, decades even, because I've come through a lot. We all have our story. And in going through some very difficult things, I had to come to the point where I still learned to choose who I was going to be and what I was going to do. And it didn't mean I was going to get everything I wanted, at least instantly, but I had to choose the path. I had to pick up the path that would lead me to that peace. And so I've been on that for quite a while on a personal level. But even as I felt strong enough to start sharing with you guys, all the world, I still came back to myself because, and I want to add another element to this, and it's your body. It's your body that needs or ought to have the privilege of being peaceful. When we have peace, there's an element to peace that is very important, and that is what I call land or real estate, like actual space. When you have peace and you can walk down your road, at midnight, and not be afraid that it's safe to walk down your street at midnight. That has, as part of that, a street. There's a street, there's a space. All the houses along the way are safe. All the people that are walking up and down the street are safe. And there's, that. Now, where is that on this earth? I don't know. There's a few places. I live in a pretty safe town. It's a small town in Arizona. So there's some safety here. But besides a few little pockets, where is that? Where is that kind of safety? Almost nowhere. And if I want to be able to wake up, have 3 meals a day, enjoy my relationship with my significant others or with my friends or whatever kind of human relationships that we enjoy or imagine that we wish we could enjoy. All of this is done in a space. It's done in a house. It's done at parks. It's done at schools. We build buildings, or we plant gardens, or we preserve wilderness. And now we even add digital space. Is Facebook safe? Is YouTube safe? Am I going to be bullied? Am I going to be... And it's almost nowhere to be found. And so as we're working toward peace and the things that go along with peace, like basic prosperity for everyone, where people can eat and have health care and things like that, that is done in a space. And I don't want anybody to forget that. If you're listening to me, this is something I'm probably going to bring up. Don't forget that piece of it. And when you get a place that's strong like that, strong and peaceful, then if something unpeaceful tries to come in, like if an unpeaceful element starts to come into your neighborhood, and I'm not saying to do anything violent because you can resist non-violently, but very definitely, it doesn't mean be passive. But you can say, you can't be here. You can't bring your violence or your unpeaceful ways into our space, because this is our space. This is our agreement. Like whether it's your home, like if maybe it's only your home, like maybe the whole street out there is chaos and the whole country is chaos. But when you come inside your home, there's your family loves each other, and you may not have everything material, but you know how to bless and celebrate with the materials that you have. And so your home is that peaceful place, and you can repel and limit the influences of violence and unpeaceful ways that come into that house. And then you can do that at the neighborhood level, and then maybe you could do it at the larger community level. It can spread, or at least this is how I imagine it. I mean, I don't see a lot of it happening, but it's not happening either, because there are lots of people who are creating peace all over the world, but it has this space element to it. So bringing that back to your body, the first space is your body. This is made from the elements of the earth. And if your body is sad and sorry and doesn't have the right kind of food to eat because, we're, I don't know, this is my example I use all the time, like eating boxes of donuts. It's okay to have a donut. But, when I was younger, I could do a box, in probably 10 minutes. Not good. And instead of, the Buddha bowls with the rice and the vegetables and the healthy proteins and that sort of thing. I mean, if you put a Buddha bowl in, or a smoothie into your body, and it's going to be peaceful. It's going to be, oh, thank you. Or a greens drink. And why wouldn't you give that to your body? Think of your body as a space and a place, and the first space and place that gets to have peace. And start with the things you eat, or the things that it is allowed to do or not do. If we wouldn't force another person to do something, then don't force yourself to do things. Try to figure yourself out. Try to serve yourself. Try to love yourself and comfort yourself and guide yourself. Anything that you would gently do for someone else, then gently do it for yourself, so that your body feels safe in this world, because it has that lover and that protector, which is yourself. And again, this is important even as we think about peace at the world level, because peace at the world level is going to be the addition and the accumulation and the synchronicity and the more than the sum of the parts, as we all have that peaceful body, and then as we expand it to our house, and then maybe our neighborhoods, and maybe they're small now, but if we keep on this safe digital spaces, as we keep creating them, and then connecting them, the ones that are already here, because there's actually a lot that just seems, it's not enough, because it's not everybody. Until everybody's just peaceful, it's not enough, is it? Because there's too much violence going on. But think about it with the space that you're using. And even I've done that. So I started with my body, and I'm trying, and it's a journey because I have to constantly make those decisions right now. It's not second nature yet. It's still, what am I going to eat today? How am I going to rest? When am I going to give my body a chance to play? What am I going to do to feed my mind? I'm still in the part where I'm making those decisions separately and deliberately, but it's gradually going to become just part of who I am. I trust that will happen. And I've also done this with my bedroom. Like, I'm trying to create my bedroom as a temple, so that like when I go into my bedroom, the space and the energy there is peaceful, and it like literally heals me. And I can do that with sound, with keeping it clear and clean, with aromas and fragrances, with beautiful pictures, with, and that's a process too. Like, because I can't go out and just buy everything all at once that I think I want to decorate with. But as I go along, I can find one piece, another piece, and when I'm there, I can, sing into the room so that the walls have the song in them. And this is all a process, but I'm creating the space of my body and the space of my bedroom. And then as I expand that, it will be into my whole home. And then as I do that, my intention is to make connections with each of my neighbors. And I do already have some, but I want to deepen those, and the ones that we may not have met as easily, I want to go and say hello. And I don't feel like I'm there yet, so I don't want to say that I have done it, but I'm thinking of this as this space that can become peaceful, and we can come into union of love and peace with each other. And so when you want to change something in the world, something that you think is not peaceful, or you think is violent, or just plain wrong, I don't think that it's helpful to condemn. I know that people have different ideas about that there may be some things that are worthy of condemnation, but I don't see condemnation as effective. Even if it may be justified, it doesn't seem effective to me. Like, it doesn't lead to a change or a long-term change. Someone may change in the short term because they're afraid of someone else's condemnation, but it doesn't change the being. But if we become those lights and make the invitation, now we don't have to be perfect, I'm not perfect, but if we become those lights and make that invitation from, this is how I'm living, I'm peaceful, it's beautiful, would you like to join me? This is what I've found that works for me of how I do it. Oh, you've got a different idea? Let's try it out. Maybe I could try it out too. What works for you, what doesn't work for you, but just no violence. But it doesn't have to be all the same. But if you are a person who is thinking about peace in the world, start with yourself, start with your own body, give your own body peace. Create a space in your home. Maybe it's not your bedroom, maybe it's a little corner of your living room where you read books or something, some kind of space. And just keep thinking of pressing out that space further with peace and with concrete actions and concrete material things. And sometimes when we feel peaceful, or when we talk about peace, we can get really ethereal, like it's for another world, or it denies physical things and material things. Like we simply, like we reject corporations or whatever just on the face of it. What about if corporations could be brought into the circle? What if they could be peaceful corporations? What if it's not them and us, maybe? What if it's just us? And so, yeah. So I think you get the idea. Start with your body. Start with your spirit. Be the revolution. And then just let that spread like a virus. Talk to you later.